Hey everybody, welcome to Looking for Birds YouTube channel, part 5. This day featured an organized afternoon and evening van tour from Port Douglas to Cape Tribulation. But before we get to the tour, I had the morning free to try some birding near Port Douglas. First, I stopped back at the Warri Park wetland. Australasian swamp hen was here, and Australasian figbirds. I was able to track down one smaller bird, which ended up being large-billed gerygony, a lifer, and also a new family, uh, Acanthizidae, sometimes called Australian warblers or thornbills and allies. Next stop, I tried Newell Beach, where there is indeed a beach and a quaint esplanade. I got one lifer here, varied triller, but unfortunately no photo. And otherwise, I enjoyed hanging out with some of the common birds like this laughing kookaburra. Soon it was time to head back to Port Douglas and join my tour with FNQ Tours, Far North Queensland, a very well run and pretty expensive tour company. My guide was Will, who was great, and there were two other tourists in my van. The first stop was to the Daintree River for Solar Whisper Wildlife Cruise, a quiet, clean solar electric boat cruise that focuses not on birds but on the saltwater crocodile. The boat was full of people. We cruised around in the mangroves, desperately trying to spot a crocodile. The conditions were not favorable between the warm water and the high tides. Crocs are unlikely to rest on banks. There pretty much weren't any banks. Finally, we did get very brief looks at a female croc peeking up slightly above the water surface. We saw very few birds. Here are some eastern cattle egrets, which was a lifer species for
They're
me.
very nervous birds, so they're probably all gonna fly away. But at Solar Wish we love all the animals, guys, so we're gonna look for any animal that you think is interesting, and we definitely have some people that like birds on the trip as well. So you can see some orange ones, they're all gonna.
The people he mentions as wanting to see birds was really just me. We did get to see some spectacled flying foxes. You can see some hanging there, maybe. They're big old fruit bats. More on those in a future video. I did see a lifer kingfisher on the boat, the azure kingfisher, but I couldn't get a photo. If you're mainly into birds, the Solar Whisper boat is not really the best boat trip. Okay, here's taking the van on a ferry across the Daintree River. Here's a view from an overlook spot along the road to Cape Tribulation. We spent a lot of time looking for a southern cassowary, which was great since it was the number one bird I wanted to see on the trip. All the tourists in the Cape Trib area want to see the cassowary. On the boat, they didn't care about birds at all. Now, once there's cassowary marketing everywhere, suddenly everyone is interested in seeing a bird. If there are cars stopped, there's a good chance a cassowary is the reason. So we saw some cars stopped, and for just a split second, I did see the dark figure of a cassowary. But by the time I got my binoculars up and my camera ready, it had slipped away, disappeared. This was deeply unsatisfying. Anyway, onward to the Maja Boardwalk, which allows us to walk through the swamp. We'd be coming back here after dinner for the nocturnal portion of the tour. We saw some peppermint stick insects here, which can emit a defensive spray with an odor similar to peppermint. And we saw some more spectacled flying foxes at a spot that Will knew about. Now, after a very nice dinner at the Tides restaurant, we're back at the Maja Boardwalk in the nighttime with another stick insect, which some helpful folks on iNaturalist identified as strong stick insect. We saw lots of huntsman spiders, not real big ones. Also, this Australasian slimwing dragonfly, and a couple frogs, the Australian wood frog and the white-lipped frog. So that's a wrap on day 5. Come back for day 6, whenever that video gets posted. And in that one, we'll be heading back to the Atherton Tablelands. Thanks for watching.